Welcome to section 5. This is the very last section of our debt free framework, and this section is all about maximizing your savings. So, I'm going to walk through just a really quick review of the framework so far. In step 1, we created our debt free goal. In step 2, we lowered our interest rate so that we'd be saving potentially thousands of dollars on our path to debt freedom. In step 3, we created an easy and simple repayment strategy, understanding the monthly payment amount that we need to meet. In step 4, we discovered amazing careers that can maximize our earnings and enable us to easily conquer and meet that repayment strategy. And in step 5, this step, we're going to be going over maximizing your savings so that you can funnel even more money into your loans and become debt-free faster. So I want you to really understand that it's really, really important to prioritize fixed and reoccurring costs to save the most money. So here's an example. If I say save $50 on a one-time pair of shoes, that's only a savings of $50 once. Now say I went out and I looked for cheaper rent, and all of a sudden I saved $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year in savings, and over 10 years, that's $60,000 in savings. So you can see how fixed and reoccurring costs like housing, like car, like your cell phone and TV are so much more important to prioritize when you're trying to maximize your savings than simple little ways like saving on a pair of shoes. That's important and that's helpful, but really focus on fixed and recurring costs. So, what are the main costs that you need to focus on to try to minimize? They are housing, car, TV and cell phone, gas, and food. All of these are things that we need day in, day out for forever, and that's why they should be prioritized. So, housing. Here are some main ways that you can really save tons of money. One is to try to move in with family or relatives. You can try to move in with loved ones, maybe a boyfriend, girlfriend, friends. You can get roommates. Just simply trying to move to a cheaper location, maybe a nearby city that's a little bit cheaper, but maybe doesn't have the amenities, or downgrade in terms of the apartment size, or maybe it doesn't have a pool. Certain things like that can really save you a lot of money. So I like to always do examples to really make you understand how much savings you could have. So simply by going out and trying to find cheaper rent and potentially saving $500 a month, that's a savings of $6,000 a year or $60,000 over 10 years. So that's why if you want to try to conquer your debt quickly, prioritizing cheap housing is the number one thing to do. Next is car. So if you're buying a car, try to prioritize getting a car at 0% interest. That way you can maybe focus on paying towards your loans first and then the car later, or it's one less thing that you have to worry about for interest. That's another cost added upon the principal amount of the car loan. And so if you get no interest, that's really helpful in your savings. Also, turn on auto payment for your car so that you can get potentially reduction in your interest rates, as well as making budgeting a lot easier. Now, if you do need to buy a car, try to buy a used car, because many times simply the moment you drive off the lot, your car loses extensive value right away. You can also simply try to just purchase within your budget. Sometimes these car dealers, they get really tricky and you get really influenced to try to buy the nicest thing or the newest technology, but make sure to come with a set budget and the set number. Now, say you already have a car or you don't have a car, maybe you can avoid buying a car altogether and carpool instead. Maybe talking to friends, coworkers, peers, or loved ones and trying to carpool together. If you can't carpool, then maybe is there a public transportation route that you can take? Is there a subway, a bus, a train? Is there another alternative route? And lastly, are you close enough to bike or walk? And the benefits of this can be several benefits because you're getting exercise, stress reduction, at the same time saving the planet and saving money. Now, let's say you have a car. Maybe you can't carpool with someone, but maybe you offer your services as a carpool. Maybe you offer to become an Uber or Lyft driver on your way home. I know a lot of people that coming to work don't work for Uber or Lyft, but on the way home, where they maybe have a more flexible schedule, will turn on that device and try to pick up people on their way home. And so you're already heading in that direction. Might as well make a little bit extra money. If you don't want to become a Uber or Lyft driver, maybe just talk to, once again, your friends or your coworkers. If you simply charged, say, $30 a week or $20 a week for gas to carpool and to drive other people, that's actually an extra $1,400 a year, simply driving one coworker to a place you were already going. That's pretty awesome. Now let's move on to TV costs. So TV can be quite expensive. It can be upwards of $100 plus for TV and internet. So here are some nifty ways that I've been able to really reduce my TV costs. And that's through one-time services such as an indoor antenna and streaming services. So indoor antennas are basically really small, actually. They're this sort of flat sheet, and it's very small, almost the size of a folder, and it can go anywhere in your room, and it's basically an antenna indoors. It's a $30 to $50 one-time fee, and it picks up all the basic channels like ABC, NBC, CBC. Now, for all the fancy channels like HGTV or your sports channels, that's where you'll need to get a streaming service. Now, I recommend getting a Roku and looking at, say, Sling for a streaming service. And you can go to this URL I have here in the video and below this video to compare various streaming services to see if that would fit for you. But many of these streaming services have tons and tons of channels and only charge $20 to $40 a month for streaming. So instead of paying $100 a month, you now all of a sudden are saving $60 or $75 a month. And just $75 a month savings can add up to $900 a year. Times that by 10 years, you've just saved $9,000 simply by getting a one purchase antenna and a streaming service. So check out the links below. Next is cell phone. How can we save on our cell phones? Well, one, don't upgrade every so often. Try to see if you can keep your cell phone longer. Don't trade in your old phone if you get a new phone. Many times the cost of a new phone is much more expensive than your older phone. If your older phone still works, try to keep it as a backup in case your new phone gets stolen or lost or broken. That way you don't all of a sudden have to pay the $500 to $1,000 for a new iPhone. Now, if you already have a package for your cell phone, try to renegotiate prices and call them to see if they have a new deal or a better deal. And then something that I do is I simply stay on my family's cell phone plan. Many times I've looked and I've seen that if you get your own plan, it's between $70 or $80 a month, but the same plan as a family is only $20 a person. And so that can save you a lot of money over time. Next is gas. So if you can save on gas in the following ways, that will really help both the planet and helping you funnel more money to your loans. And that is in terms of maybe seeking public transportation, biking or walking, carpool, or simply a more gas efficient car. Just $15 a week in gas savings can add up to $780 a year. Next is food. Now, here are some really simple ways that my boyfriend and I have been able to save like $100 a week, and that's simply by cooking at home versus eating out. Often we'll eat out, and all of a sudden the bill is $50 for simply one meal. And that's not even at an extravagant restaurant. That $50 is basically what we pay for a whole week's worth of food. So in one day of eating out, that's 1 week of cooking at home. And you can see how that savings can really add up. Also, try to pack lunches the night before. It's really hard in the morning. You get lazy, you get sleepy, you are maybe running behind, and so you won't pack your lunch. So try to pack your lunch before. I also make a grocery list ahead of time. And so when I go to stores to get things, I already know what I'm getting. So there's not a lot of excess and waste in terms of food and money. And then lastly, we use a lot of leftovers for lunches. So if we don't want to eat that same food again, we try to have it for lunches as the next day. And that really helps on continuous preparation. So overall, I know that's a lot of costs of savings that we're talking about, and a lot of different perspectives. And so look into what you can do to save. But I just wanted to give you several different options and a variety of different ways that you can conquer those options to save really a dramatic amount of money. So just if you saved on housing, TV and cell phones, gas and car, all that would add up to almost $8,720 a year just by making a couple simple choices. And that is really going to change how fast you can pay off your debt and how simply you can pay off your debt. Now, that's the end of this step 5, maximizing your savings framework. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me at debtfreept@gmail.com. In the next lesson, I'm going to teach you some really simple and easy ways to earn an extra couple $100 or even $1,000 a year in just a couple steps. So I'll see you there.